this is a place where you can just take care of yourself nightly. So what you do is you can enjoy the healing, you can fall asleep, or you can just set this time aside to take care of yourself, i.e. let the video play in the background, because that's how the video gets recommended nowadays. You gotta, watch the whole video. So if you want, just play some of these videos on loop for your girl. I appreciate it. And for all of my new babies, welcome, welcome, welcome. And for all of my returning babies, welcome, welcome back. Mama loves you. Again, we are in this Mercury in retrograde period, and we are getting through it. So we know that May and June, we're focusing exclusively, strictly, and specifically on this Mercury in retrograde energy. We did the pre-shadow. We're in the retrograde period, and we're going to do the post-shadow. Because things don't happen in a vacuum, so took you from the beginning all the way here. If you need additional support, head on over to the Patreon community, because since the pre-shadow period, we have had daily posts of things that you can do during the day to help you during this period. So it just helps you ground you, and that is only $3 a month, and so it is super accessible to get the level of support it is in its community as well. So let's get started. If you're new, we start the session off with a prayer. Prayer is so important. It is balancing, grounding energy. It is not a religious prayer. It is a prayer to root us in our individual healing experience and bring us together as a community and as a collective. And because consent matters, that's my favorite line. Do I have your permission to say a prayer? Beautiful. May I touch you? Okay. Let's just open this energy up. Relax. This is a grounding. So whatever you say during your prayers or meditation or whatever it is that you do, maybe you just give yourself a pep talk, affirmation, whatever it is that you do, you can incorporate that energy in this moment. I really worked on this prayer, and I made this the most inclusive prayer that I could, and you've seen the evolution of the Reiki healing hope prayer change over time, and this is by far my favorite prayer. So let's go ahead and get started. Breathe in, exhale. Okay. Dear universe, and all for the highest vibrational good only, please connect us to our highest self and validate information for our highest vibrational good only. Please allow us to release what we need to let go and embrace what allows us to grow. Let our journey encompass the lineages, traditions, religions, and spiritual paths that bring light out through us to share with others. I say all of this in the name of I am Ashe, 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 and I hope you felt that in your spirit the way that I feel it in mine. Just relax. Now y'all really gonna be appreciating this prayer once we get into Saturn. Once Saturn has its Pisces return. Saturn and its Pisces return is really going to be about faith and stuff. So that's going to be happening March, April of 2023. So, we'll get into that then. We're still in Aquarius and we're well into it. So we pretty much have those themes there. So let's work on this cord cutting and removing. So it's more like maybe a cord pulling, but just removing the energy and just detaching it from you. This has really, really close ties to that recent total lunar eclipse, because there we had to give up some toxic codependent behavior in order to heal. So this is very much so in relation to that, and this is just some residual work that we are doing to kind of get that out. Now, I explained to those who caught the live on Array Tarot when I did the intuitive reading for that moon, that with that full moon being in Scorpio versus the eclipse we had last November, which was in Taurus, the theme was different. The goal for this was healing. You're healing the past because of that South Node in Scorpio energy. But the so far down that we didn't even know what we were looking at, not even really realizing that these behaviors were enabling that situation. So we gave that up, consciously or unconsciously, to work through the healing that comes there. So you can work with the universe or you can resist it. Just surrender to the universe. It's always easier that way. And we gotta give up people, dynamics we have with people that don't work. And we need to celebrate the people in our life with good dynamics. There are many times that you may have toxic loyalty or drama with someone that you're just so grateful they're nice to you on a Tuesday and they treat you like trash any other day. That lets you know that that is not the connection you need to have. But there are people quietly in your life supporting you, amplifying you, not taking up space. But if you're in a constant state of trauma, you're in a constant state of anxiety, you are in that state of depression as well. You're only able to see the things that are vibrating at that level. But it's time to break that, physically break that cycle, and celebrate those people in your life that are quietly loving and supportive. And you cannot allow yourself to bring any codependent behavior into those interactions too. Sometimes that's why the focus might not be there too, because you may be used to being in codependent situations. So being over here, it means you have to learn to be autonomous. You have to learn to be self-fulfilling, and you have to work at a higher vibrational state. Just working through that energy. Yeah, baby, this takes some work, you know. Our energetic health is so important. And it is our personal responsibility to work through that at all times. Our personal responsibility. Let me just wipe it off you too. Okay. It's okay, it does that all the time. Breathing in and out. Moving through this. Now, if you're ready to change your mindset, if you're ready to live at a level of your purpose, and only you know what your purpose is, but to live at a level of your purpose, you have to start seeing yourself from the bigger eye, the bigger picture. You cannot play small. You cannot diminish your goals. You cannot underestimate what you're doing. You have to look at yourself from the power that you truly stand in. Healing is a part of that power. When you work towards your healing, you surrender to the universe and you just allow those wounds to lay open, to be healed by the beautiful healing rays of the sun. You shift your trajectory. You start moving from a more centered power. Okay. Keep breathing. And also understand, babies, there's healing in words too. Sometimes you can have a conversation with somebody and just them saying something, just the interaction that you all have together, like is my intention for us to have on a nightly basis, that sets those energetic shifts as well too. That's why I'm always explaining things, because I know the healing can come through the words as well too. comment section, put it in the chat. You know, I read those chats and read the comment section. So put it there. Okay. Breathe. And let it go. You have permission to let it go. You have permission to not hold on to the baggage anymore. You have permission to not stay stuck in one part of your life. You have permission to just release and heal. You have that permission. Keep breathing through this. Keep channeling with yourself. So what I want you to do now is I want you to bring source energy. Source energy is what I would call like God, or whatever your particular understanding is of the unknown, the divine out there. There's no prerequisite to have to think the same way or connect in the same way. Hence, that's why I really enjoy this inclusive prayer that I created. But it is just your understanding. Sometimes it could be nature. A lot of y'all be leaning towards God, which I always find very fascinating, because it shows, as I don't know if you all know this, but you probably do, I'm a really big, like, religious studies kind of nerd. But I actually like looking at different religions. Sometimes people like to concentrate on one, but I like looking at different ones. And we're going through this evolutionary change, or evolution of religion, from an anthropological and a sociological perspective right now. The way that we're looking at maybe some of the really large worldwide religions is we are becoming more spiritual in it. It is less about the religion and more about the spiritual aspect. And even the purest form of the spiritual aspect, which is called mysticism. So there's mystical aspects in whatever religion. It is called the specific spiritual path, you know, of whatever that religion is. We are trying to fuse that together. We want to really live that, and then we are kind of moving away from like discriminatory thoughts and practices that don't make sense. We are taking personal responsibility. We understand that you cannot look at somebody and understand where they're at spiritually, that it is all of our individual responsibility to take responsibility for ourselves. And that's a beautiful thing that's happening. So again, whatever connection you feel most comfortable with, pull that in. So I'm going to pull that in through the top and bring that in. And what this feels like is unconditional love. When you connect to the divine, it is simply unconditional love. When we are in spirit form, okay, as the soul enters the body, as it leaves the body, we are souls, you know, we just have this carbon-based experience. But as our soul, you know, enters and leaves the body, before we're in the body and after we leave the body, if we are at a, you know, state of balance, we are with, you know, and one with the collective, the universe, everything, and that feeling is unconditional love. It is not the hard stress and pain of reality. What happens to souls is that they can get stuck in certain karmic cycles. When we are in soul form, we see things from the higher view, because the exercise I had when I'm like, come outside of your body and look down, you were no longer limited by your physical stuff. And the physical stuff, as I said before, your feelings can feel like reality. And if they're changing every minute or so, you start feeling a little bit crazy. But when you hover above yourself, that is just you kind of being in that spirit form and seeing things. So us as souls see the big picture. Us as souls look at the life that we chose and said, okay, this is the life I need for my soul to get this understanding. And as soon as we go into the actual body, then we are hindered by all of this physical stuff, and we forget all of that wisdom. But when we go into our prayer or meditation or channeling or whatever you do, we can remember a little bit more. We're still, you know, physical, so enjoy those physical experiences. I don't really understand when people just want to live all the way up here in the physical form. It's like, look, you got time to do that once you're, you know, ready to move on in this lifetime. Enjoy this physical experience, because there's a reason why the soul wants to come into the body, because it wants to experience, it understands that the complex dynamic experiences in life that we have is a part of the really don't have to, stress you out that much. You will most certainly encounter tough times at times. Don't get me wrong with that. But you don't have to hold on to it. Experience it in the moment. It is what it is. But you don't have to hold on to it, because our life is so short in the span of the universe that, can you imagine if you spent most of that time just uncomfortable? So you have the power. Life isn't happening to you. You are co-creating it. You have the power to determine what you want. Stop asking the universe and stop asking God for things. Oh, I want this, God, I want that. Tell the universe, tell God that I want this, and surrender to the path that is in front of you, or your understanding of what the universe or the divine is. Say what you want. Say, universe, I want this. Please put me on the path. That is how you co-create. Please put me on the path. I will not judge, and I surrender to the path. And that's how you have faith. That's okay. We're going to work on that 2023 and on, okay? We're going to work on that then. But I hope that this helped to release some of your stress, because it kind of explains why these things happen. So I'm going to seal you up. Okay? Seal you with the sign of the infinity. And say,